Yo, you guys, this is Blacklist to the Abyss, and you're watching my review for Boku no Hero Academia, aka My Hero Academia, Chapter 39. Alright, and I've said this in my World Trigger review and my Solon review, and I'm saying it again here. I've been really busy since Wednesday. Things just kept happening, whether it be school-related or job-related or extracurricular slash student organization-related. Things just kept popping up, and I'm not even going to be free until like Friday. Alright, so I wanted to get this review up on Monday or Tuesday, but it's just now getting up because this is the first time I've actually had a chance to actually record it. Alright, but it's up now. Then, yeah. Alright, so this chapter starts off with Izuku actually managing to get a punch on Todoroki. And in this chapter, he managed to pull himself together to get that punch off and even control the power a little bit. But after that punch, he kind of just started breaking down again and hurt him even more. And we have these heroes saying that, yeah, he's fine going all out like this because he knows he can be healed afterwards. But actually, with the amount of damage he's caused himself, even if he does win this round, which he's not going to, I predicted that a while ago. Even if he does win this round, he's not going to be healed in time to compete in the next one. So from a story perspective, from a writing perspective, that fact right there, that he won't be able to compete in the next round even if he wins, that right there tells you that Todoroki should win, because what's the point of having Todoroki lose if it's, no, like you might as well have someone go through and benefit from this, like why have them both? Why have them both lose? It's like having them both lose in the end, If if Izuku wins, he still loses. So there's just no point in having him win. They should just let Todoroki. I say that. I mean the author, but Horikoshi. But I predicted this a while ago. But Todoroki's winning this, and by the end of this chapter, it becomes pretty clear that Izuku probably just does not. It's just not going to happen. All right, and it's mostly his own fault. Well, I mean, I don't think he would have won even without all this trying to save Todoroki, but it is kind of his own fault because he was trying to save Todoroki, and get him to use his left half. He tells him that if he becomes number one without giving it his all, then he isn't really denying his father of everything, which I guess I can kind of understand, because at the end of the day, Endeavor's goal is for him to become number one. So even if he does it without using his full power, then that means Endeavor can sit there and say, I created this kid who could become number one without even going all out. Like even if he does that, it's kind of just making Endeavor look better for saying, I created this kid for him to become number one, and he did it without even needing to use 100% of his strength. So in that sense, I guess you can say that he's not really denying Endeavor anything, if he chooses not to go all out. But those words that Izuku said to him ended up inspiring a flashback. And we learned that Todoroki has siblings, and that he wasn't allowed to play with his siblings or even interact with them, really, because he was born for a specific purpose and they were not involved in that purpose. Therefore, he didn't need to be involved in their world, as Endeavor put it. Right? And then we see he overhears his mother talking to his grandmother about how whenever she looks at him, she just can't help but feel this hatred boiling up for him in his left side in Endeavor. Okay, and that ends up being the scene where she ends up burning him with that water. And then we go back to the flashback ends temporarily. We go back to Izuku talking to him, and he tries to tell him that, Todoroki, your power isn't your mother's. Your power isn't your father's. Your power is your own. Okay? And you can use it without acknowledging your father, because it's like an issue of perception, kind of, okay? Todoroki cannot help but see his left side as his father's power. Alright? But by seeing his combined left side and right side as one power, it ends up not being his parents' powers anymore. It's his own unique power. All right, and I guess that it's that perception that change in perception that allows him to see that he's not being bound by his blood, and that he doesn't need to hold back, and that he can actually deny Endeavor despite using his left half, I guess you could say. But which, I mean, clearly Endeavor doesn't believe that. He doesn't really give a crap what the perception is, because when Todoroki does end up using his left half at the end of this chapter, Endeavor has the biggest smile on his face. So clearly he doesn't give a crap. All right, which I'm actually kind of inclined to agree with him. Endeavor doesn't like Endeavor created Todoroki specifically to have him become #1. So it doesn't really matter how he gets there, whether he uses his left half or not. Endeavor would prefer him to use his left half. But whether or not he doesn't really matter, because the fact that he was capable of becoming #1 means that Endeavor's goal was successful. He created someone who could become #1. So, in Endeavor's mind, and mine too, kind of, whether or not, like, the perception of it being his power or not, it's not really relevant. It doesn't really mean anything, but Izuku is able to phrase it in a way where it convinces Todoroki that it's true, and that's what really matters in the situation, because Todoroki does in fact end up using his left side. Alright. So, yeah. Izuku's got no chance at this point. Yeah. I mean, since quirks are physical abilities, even with his left side activated, it's still, I'm sure he still has a limit of some sort. He can use his fire side to counter the limits of his ice side, but there still has to be a limit of some sort on his power, even if it looks like there isn't one. So I'll be interested in figuring out when that limit reveals itself. But as for this chapter, I will give it an 8 out of 10. It was cool seeing that panel with Todoroki finally using his left half in a battle. But like I said, it's like the logic, it worked for Izuku, it worked for Todoroki, but for me, I just don't really see it. But it was still a really good chapter, so I'll give it an 8 out of 10. I like the way the flashbacks were woven in there. Actually, no, because of the flashbacks, I'll give it an 8.5. Yeah, I'll give it an 8.5 out of 10, you guys. And that's that. Rate, comment, subscribe. Follow me on Twitter at BlacklistOTA. And I'll see you guys next time.